Hello everyone and welcome back to my studio. So I have to be honest with you guys and tell you that I had a really hard time coming up with a video for the middle of the month here, and you probably noticed that I didn't do much talking in my last video because of kind of the state of the world and everything that's going on. It's just been kind of rough. So for this video, I printed out my I Can't Breathe poster and decided to just test out the coloring paper that I bought for the Color Me Creative collection of coloring pages. And I wanted to basically test it out and see what tools would work best on it. So for those of you that will be purchasing coloring pages will know what you can and can't use. This first time around, I decided to go with color pencil, and the color pencil worked really well. It's super smooth paper and it's 130 pounds. I think from what I understand, it's probably a little bit better for color pencil to have a little bit more texture to give the pencil something to grab onto, but I think this worked out well enough that you can definitely use color pencil with these pages. The next option is probably the one that I think I enjoyed using markers, but I didn't like the way this one turned out, mostly because these are like super old supplies, and a lot of them were really dried out, so I had a very limited color palette that I could use for it. But the markers laid down really nicely and it ended up being pretty smooth. So I would think that markers are probably one of the better supplies to use with this kind of paper. Again, as long as you have some color variations to get closer to what you want, you should be fine. Again, it is pretty thick paper and it holds up really well. There is a little bit of bleed through with the markers, and there for the hair I actually used a Sharpie marker, and like I said, there's a little bit of bleed through, but it doesn't bleed through onto a second page. So I did a couple of tests to make sure that the bleed through only went so far. So it goes onto the back of the page, but not onto a second page. Lastly, and obviously probably my favorite supply to use for this test was watercolor. I wanted to see how well it would hold up, and it did a pretty good job. It's not as thick as the watercolor paper that I would generally use, but it's also thicker than some of the cheaper watercolor papers that I've used. So it really just means that you have to be careful and just be aware of how much water you're laying down. I recommend wet into dry washes, so put down a wash and dry it. And also you have to be a little bit braver with the amount of pigments that you put in each layer, because the paper can not take as much as watercolor paper. So you'll want to start out with slightly darker washes than you normally would, just to make sure that you're not adding too much water to the paper. Overall, I really like this paper. Like I said, it was really smooth and easy to work with. The finish is very nice, and I'm excited to continue the coloring pages using this, so you guys have some options in how you want to color your pages. Next up, what you'll be seeing is actually the digital process of this piece from start to finish, and it actually started out as I was testing out ideas for what I wanted to do for Inktober coming up, and incorporating kind of African aesthetic, and I was going to do another coronavirus mask piece, and I had put it on the back burner for a while, and then the world exploded, and it kind of turned into what it is. And yeah, the next portion of music I found on YouTube, a couple of artists that better explain kind of my feelings towards the current situation, and kind of the combination of sadness and anger that I'm feeling that is kind of stealing my words away, and I feel like they do a better job of expressing my feelings, I guess, than I could myself. So I'm going to go ahead and let them use their beautiful skills to explain kind of the hearts of a lot of people right now. Keep in mind that if you do purchase the digital poster, which you'll see at the end of this video, I'll be collecting all of the proceeds and donating them to the Black Lives Matter campaign to fund the movement. I'll also be adding links to both of the musical artists and to various other organizations that you can support and donate to.
We are daddies, we are brothers, we are sisters, we are mothers, afraid to lose the love we share, afraid to lose our breath of air, scared to move, scared to scream, feeling queasy, panicking. Growing up in America, we're always told that we can call 911, please help me, 911, protect me, 911, I'm shaking, 911, I'm breaking, 911, I'm crying, 911, I'm dying, 911, come fend for me, but 911 is right in front of me, and I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe. Mama says keep your hands up, Daddy says hood down, pants up. You should be fine if you obey. I just wanna see you every day, but this is far more cruel. There is nothing we can do. Submission isn't danger proof in a system that wasn't made for you. 911, please help me, 911, protect me, 911, I'm shaking, 911, I'm breaking, 911, I'm crying, 911, I'm dying, 911, come fend for me, but 911 is right in front of me, and I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe, no, I can't breathe, we can't breathe, we're on our knees, we can't breathe, we're on our knees, we can't breathe. We are on our knees. We can't keep living in fear. The bigger picture is clear. So turn off the TV and let's love each other. The news and the radio, they want to keep us vibing low. We are stronger than we know. We overcome together, creating life.
video that's gone viral showing officers arresting a suspect who later died.
Breonna Taylor, the black emergency medical technician that was shot and killed by police officers in her own home.
This morning, the FBI is looking into the death of a black man.
If it ain't the virus, then it's violence. Too much silence in the air, are people scared? Feels like nobody cares. If you wanna close the distance and you're white, then it's all fine. If you're not, you cross the line. We shouldn't dare, and it's not fair. We shouldn't have to worry when we go outside the house. Built this country on our backs, they just keep breaking us down. It's 2020, what the hell is that about? I'm trying to figure out, how is the land of the free and the home of the brave? Built off the backs of the slaves. Black man shot every couple of days. They see you running, put you in the grave. People dying, mamas crying. It's no longer underlying, and they keep on justifying, so we gotta keep on trying. Rest in peace to all the angels that we lost. We're gonna fight to do what is right, no matter the cost. How can this be the land of the free without justice? Justice. No justice, no peace, no humanity. How could you want this? Living in a system when you're constantly the victim. Too much to comprehend, so you start to pretend that you talk a certain way. Try not to run, just walk away. Keep that hood up off your head. You do everything to blend. We shouldn't have to worry when we go outside the house. Built this country on our backs, they just keep breaking us down. It's 2020, what the hell is that about? I'm trying to figure out, how you gon' sit on the side while these killings go by? Like you're not down for the ride. You hear the stories, all you give is a sigh. We protest the streets and you wanna know why? Because people dying, mamas crying. It's no longer underlying, and they keep on justifying, so we gotta keep on trying. Rest in peace to all the angels that we lost. We're gonna fight to do what is right, no matter the cost. No matter the cost. How can this be the land of the free without justice? Justice. No justice, no peace, no humanity. How could you want this? How could you want this, want this? How could you want this?